Hello everyone and welcome back once again, and for the second to last time probably of the Mania 4Key World Cup 2020. I am Juan Crystal, not the host this time, commentating alongside the host this time, Walter Toro. How you doing, my man?
Oh my god, this is actually real. We have this amazing match and it's actually the second to last match for this tournament, Brazil and South Korea. Yeah, I'm actually very excited to see how these two teams will actually do on this match, especially looking at the results from the last weekend. Seems that this is actually will be a pretty insane match to see.
Oh, it will absolutely be. Like, just looking at the rosters again, we have been talking ages about Brazil and how good they are, how they have been the tournament favorites probably since the beginning of this, right? It's just that in practice, the Brazilian team is not performing as consistent as they should. Like, Lothus has been underperforming lately, and so was Andre to some degree in the last weekend against Japan, but leaving that aside, Brazil just has, in paper, in theory, one of the strongest rosters we have ever seen in the history of the Mania game mode, really. And in front of them, South Korea, the Titans, they have not been defeated in the run for the title since 2015, where the US took it. Korea has been winning literally everything that was in their way until they faced Japan on semifinals this year, or quarterfinals rather this year.
Yeah.
Korea and Brazil have both been knocked down by Japan, who's waiting on the winner's bracket for the match, for the grand final, next match. And it will all be decided here, now, at this moment.
Yeah, it's pretty strange to see these two teams not facing each other for the grand finals, as we saw last year. It's actually pretty interesting to see that one of these two will not be top two for this year, especially when we have the same top three for the last years. It's actually insane that we will not see like USA for top three, and we will see Japan probably taking the World Tournament or facing one of these two for them to beat them on the grand final. But yeah, both South Korea and Brazil will actually need to do their best on this match to actually try to get the championship home from Japan.
Definitely. Like, I'm not sure what happened between Japan and Brazil. Like, Brazil just didn't play as well. Japan played quite well. I would say they can do better. I was very shocked that Japan took that match. I was like, maybe they have like 25% chance of taking it. And they got it. So they now secured a spot on the winner's bracket. Brazil and Korea are just going to have to face each other earlier than what many people anticipated, which is literally just one match before. And the Korean roster, maybe not looking so solid early on as we were talking when we did the drawings. Geo, Transcendence, Decomposition, Ceros, Kakai, and B-Hop Fury. They have an extremely powerful team for the late game, and they have been showing that. They took down the United States on the top 6 battle. Quite close battle, by the way. If you didn't see that match, you should go check that. And honestly, if I have not seen Korea play against Thailand on the top 4 spot as well as they did, I will say Brazil is the favorite for this. But considering how well Korea played against Thailand, I honestly not sure at all. Like, Korea played so well on the top 4 match that I'm even considering them to be the favorites to just win the entire tournament now.
It will be a difficult pill to swallow with those scores from South Korea when they faced Thailand last weekend. But it depends of Brazil if they actually they fix their mindset and actually go consistent on this match, because probably that's the key to actually take this match. We saw South Korea being consistent on their scores from last weekend, so it depends on Brazil actually not having those misses from last weekend. Probably with that, with the scores probably might be enough to take some points from South Korea, but we will see. And it depends on, oh my god, what is this warm-up?
Central de Atendimentos, Osumania. Alright then, 3 minutes and 5 seconds of Remus warm-up. This is obviously Brazil's choice, right? There's no way it's not Brazil's choice.
Yeah, I can see Gil's avatar on the background, at least on the banner. So
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right. That
yeah,
definitely is a Gil.
why isn't the background of this is actually pine nut?
Oh, it does sound like Pine Nut. Yeah, you're right. Oh, there's
Oh my
people in the
god!
chat talking about it as well. Like Seros has been mentioning
Oh my
Pine
god!
Nut. So yeah,
Yeah,
this is probably gonna be some spicy warm up over here.
yeah, yeah. It depends on how these two teams actually make it. At least on the Marmos is always memes, so we won't see like actually something real from these teams. But on the scores, probably we will see a preview of what these two teams can do on the match.
About the match itself, what do I expect? What do we expect for this match, right? I honestly cannot call a winner for this. This would easily go to tiebreaker. Like, this could easily go to tiebreaker. Brazil, I imagine, will go for the long node strategy in general. Like, Korea, perhaps looking really strong against Thailand, and they showed how well they can hold the Alang ground. But Brazil is just, I think, still one league above South Korea on the most release-oriented picks. Like, maybe not dance number because it's very physically demanding, but the hybrid by Abraxas is probably going to be a pretty good pick for Brazil. Lancelot should be a fairly good pick for Brazil as well. And those Rice picks that are maybe on the extreme side, like Edison might favor Korea, but the other Rice picks will probably favor Brazil a little bit more, as the accuracy is quite better in terms of ratio in general. And then you have other like wildcard picks, like Brazil, for example, played against Japan on the other hybrid, which was Violent Arcade, which they had extremely good scores. Like Nate had a 993k, Andre had a 988k. Just Lotus didn't really have the best of their runs, but that's another map that Brazil definitely has the potential to take. So is Dysnomia. So on the easier side, Brazil's probably going to out accuracy Korea, but then it will come down to chokes as well. Like Brazil has to be playing on top of their games. They cannot afford to have a performance similar to Japan. They have to do way better than last week.
Yeah, I can see from South Korea actually banning probably dance number or probably one of the SBs is looking at the bans from last weekend. From Brazil, probably it might be one of the rice picks, probably Edison or the Asura Retail. Probably between those two can be the choice of ban from Brazil. But it depends. I think it will be a clear battle between the rice points from South Korea and the Alliance and SPs from Brazil.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, if you check the scores on Dance Number by Korea, they all have more than 970k. Like, they don't bad at it at all. I will maybe expect, like, a ban on maybe actually the one I mentioned before, like how was it called? Violent Arcade, perhaps from Korea, as Brazil is really good at that map. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a Rice ban from Korea. Maybe like they can really go for everything. I think Korea just only has the SBs as a free pick in general. Like Galvanize will probably be a free win for Korea if Brazil is not playing at like very PB pace. But anyways, we have the warm up here, and Gillis, as always, struggling with the client. This happened on the third place match not so long ago. Last time they actually guild played, we had the tiebreaker. It was Messenger 2012, so this was like 2016, I think it was?
2017.
2017, where Gil actually had this issue where he was like synced by an entire minute, which is exactly what's happening right here.
Oh my god, yeah, it's actually happening again. Oh, okay.
It's gone.
Bye,
Gil.
Gone, yeah. Well, it depends on. I hope that we don't see those internet issues during the match, at least for from Gil, that is actually a key player for some of the maps for this match. So yeah, I think it depends on the rest of the players if they actually can do well on this match. Now that we see Gil back and gone again.
Well, Gil's still with us in the background. So there's that.
Oh my god, this is too quiet. But I can't recognize the song at the background.
It's just like your average Nightcore song.
Average Nightcore song.
One of those patterns, by the way, those jacks are pretty heavy in general. Like they're easy to time and for the most part, but some of them pattern-wise are a bit awkward. They're like on one single hand consecutive jacks, and that's very tricky to get properly. Regardless, this is just a warm-up and doesn't seem to be all that serious, and not that memey either. I will say this is a underwhelming warm-up from Brazil, considering how well they did before with other warm-ups.
Yeah.
There we go. Beep beep. Remo barely gets the S rank there, 95.04. The rest of the lobby handling quite well throughout this chart. Everybody above the 98.70. And yeah, we probably don't really get to talk too much about what just happened here. Is for the most part just a warm-up. Not gonna tell us much. Fairly irrelevant. Not really all that impressive in terms of difficulty or just meme, I guess. So we'll see if Korea can step it up.
Yeah, it depends on the songs. I think some of the songs are kind of maybe like Pine Nut. I think it was Aquarius. I can't remember the last song, but it depends now on the what South Korea will pick for warm up. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know we can pick Night Bunny 7 map. But yeah, we have this. Oh my god, this is speedrun 1.1. So actually another Camellia song here. Yeah, another 4. This is actually a very long warm-up. It's a 4-minute warm-up. So these two teams actually bringing like warm-ups to the table for warm-up.
Is it 4 minutes? Like this is 1.1, so maybe the length is wrong. I'm not sure because facts usually bug out a little bit in the client. I'm not sure. It's probably just 4 minutes. But...
You see, if it's in like 4 minutes, it's actually like 3 minutes and something. So, well, it's still actually long. Especially for this song that is actually 7.6 of a star rating. So, yeah.
Easy map.
Easy map, actually. Something that actually is a warm up. So yeah, between these two teams, will be difficult to see how they actually will perform. Looking at, I hope that Indian doesn't have those issues that it had on the last one or so. I hope we can see the same performance at least on the radius that happened on the last warm-up on the rest of the maps of the match.
I'm rechecking the scores in general between these two teams. Saihat is probably a good pick for Brazil. Then we have Heathens probably being a fairly good pick for Brazil. Lancelot will be fairly even. Edison will definitely favor Korea. Like I wouldn't be surprised at all if Brazil just bans Edison. Reliv is gonna be close. Tornado's gonna be close. Violent Arcade's probably gonna be on Brisille. Dysnomia's favoring slightly Brazil. Everything else looks like Korea. Like, so Brazil has like 8-9 maps that they have enough firepower to probably overtake Korea. But then Korea has probably a lot of picks that are more safe. Like they're just safer than Brazil's picks. So it's gonna be very close. Like the maps I can see maybe Korea losing points, like getting a break point, or rather Brazil just getting a break point on Korea in the Rise department would be, like I said, Dysnomia, but I don't think Korea's gonna pick Dysnomia against Brazil. They could drop Sinta some phone as well. Anything else is just very risky. Like Beat Beats, I think just favors Korea. Dance Number, I actually think favors Korea as well, as crazy as that sound. Edison obviously in favor of Korea. And in general, I think Korjax also favors Korea. This is just so hard to call. Like this it just smells like tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think, like you said, on South Korea side, they have enough safe picks to actually like don't have issues if they actually pick well because, well, one thing is that they have enough picks to actually take this at least to tiebreaker, but the other issue is actually if they actually do the right picks because we saw on other matches that there are some overwhelmed, like we have been overwhelmed by some of the picks by both these two teams. So yeah, we will see how it develops in the match, but for now these patterns are actually pretty crazy for the speed that it is. You can see that some of the Brazilian players are actually like, having some issues with those trios.
Yeah, it's just Walmo. They're probably trying to shrug their nerves off because I can see them just being really nervous, especially Brazilians. Like the Brazilians are extremely good at this game, but some of the players have nerve issues. Like Gil, I'm watching it. I'm staring at you, Gil. You have had issues in the past with nerves. I hope you can control them this time. I am very confident you will. And Andre MC, even though not very hit by nerves in general in tournaments before, he has not been again much consistent at all throughout this last couple pulls in particular. Obviously this map is just ridiculously hot, so they are just not really trying all too much, which makes sense. And Nick has been a beast so far in the tournament. He has been playing amazingly, so he's probably to be the MVP of Brazil here throughout this match, and they really need him to shine as well as he did against Japan. And the team just has to back him up as much as possible. On the Korean side, however, they have been pretty consistent, but they always have this third man that seems to be lacking a little bit. Like Kalkai is an extremely fast and good player in terms of physical abilities. But again, tournament-wise, the nerves have been kicking him pretty hard. He had some misses that were a bit questionable on easier sections, on like Rice Bowl in general. And although his scores are really good, he's one of those players that Brazil will have to try and capitalize those misses as much as possible. Transcendence as well as another player from Korea that suffers from nerves. So this is a pool that is hard enough where nerves can just mean 30, maybe 40,000 points. So it will come down to how well are these players like Gil, Andre, Kalkai, Transcendence feeling coming into this match.
Yes, one fail from Silly, but actually I don't have issues with that. Yeah.
It's a team fail.
Yeah, I actually expect the team fail because this map is actually very draining and it will bring issues if they don't have the stamina for later. So yeah, I actually expected that triple fail from Brazil. But yeah, I like you said that Nate actually like on other tournaments we have issues with had issues with Nate because we expected a lot from him on later stages, but sometimes like there was a miss or something else. But on this tournament in particular, like the scores from last weekend were so pretty good. Yeah.
From Gil. I was calling 100 before the stream started. 95 is close enough.
Damn.
Oh, I think he's gonna get a 966. He's gonna get a 96. Is he?
Oh no.
That's a 29. Unfortunate.
Yeah. 29 from South Korea and 95 from Brazil. It's actually will bring the first ban for South Korea and the second ban and first pick for Brazil.
So if I were Korea here, I would consider banning Violet Arcade, but I wouldn't be surprised as well if they banned one of the long note picks, like perhaps Lancelot, perhaps Heathens, maybe even how was it called? The Tidek one, the Saihate, but
Saihate, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I still think it will be one of the long notes, probably one of the threes, especially like galvanized. But
I don't think this piece is gonna be. They could potentially ban one of the Rice if they really feel like it. I don't think they should. But the one I will think was probably this Nomia.
Oh.
And this is actually this Nomia. Wow, called it.
Okay, it's actually pretty interesting that I actually buying one of the rice picks here, especially when we did talk about how South Korea has some advantages on these rice picks.
So Brazil now bans. I wouldn't be surprised if they ban Galvanize here, honestly. Or, well, I mean, they could go for a ban on another one of the SBs, but they're going for Azure Arbitrator. Okay.
They repeat
Those
their
two
ban.
They're
Yeah.
not banning Edison. So if they're banning Rise and not banning Edison, they need a plan, right? On South Korea, we saw a double S on Edison last week. Like, leaving that open is very dangerous from Brazil.
Yeah, well, probably like having this behemoth of a map, like with the stamina that it requires, probably better for them to actually not having that open. Probably they could like give the point on Edison and then pick something else. But 6 minutes is actually pretty rough for the stamina required for this map.
What?
When they
Brazil's just picking Galvanized. What?
Oh, okay. I told ya that they could go with the SBs and the lens. And similarly, looking at the scores like from last weekend, they're actually going with Galvanize.
I guess they're not holding back, but wow. I'm a bit surprised about this pick, not gonna lie. Like, in general, I think Brazil should just go for the hybrids to start a match. Like, they should go for Heathens, I think, or something like that. Or was the map updated?
No.
I don't think it was. That would be a problem for Gil if he has to update. I would say that Brazil has a slightly better score on this than Korea, but then it will mostly come down to that anchor-heavy section with the long notes, and Brazil choked quite hard last time on this against Japan specifically. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar situation here. I do know for a fact that Brazil has amazing PVs on this. Like, if they can play their best, this is a win for them. This is a map they should be winning against Korea. But SBC is such an inconsistent skill set in general, and they have to bring their most inconsistent players in general. Like, Gil and Remu are both extremely good players, but Andre, Lothus, and Nate are just really consistent as well. If they have to bring up their SB guns with their plays that are not as consistent, they are risking them to have a bad run and perhaps losing the point. And Korea, although not as good as Brazil when it comes to peak performance, they have been fairly consistent with SBs in the past. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Not particularly agree with this pick, but it could work.
It could work. I think it. As an SB player myself, I think no matter how much you train, actually doing well on an SB pick on a match is actually a very hard task. Like we saw, like Toph last weekend with that amazing ratio on Galvanize. Yeah, there are some players that actually can leave their mind aside, the mind issues, the mind blocks away, and actually do pretty well on SBs. But on this map, when you say that there was that anchory like jack with the lens, that might be the point where we'll see if this will be a point for Brazil or an instant break point by South Korea, and that won't be a good pill to swallow for Brazil.
Oh, absolutely. What is also interesting is that we might be seeing Lothus for this, as we are seeing on the chat, playing instead of Remu, who played against Japan on this map. So, bit of a surprise. Now that they have one more week to practice, I imagine Lothus managed to put out the effort there to improve that team score just a little bit, and giving maybe Brazil the dose of consistency that they really desperately need on a map like this. So perhaps that is a bit of a brighter future for Brazil now that Lotus is playing this map. Perhaps that's a good sign for them. But as well as Brazil, Korea had one more entire week to just practice the map as well. And I'm sure they did. Like, Korea is a very hard worker team, and they did really well on SVs last week. They're probably just gonna do better now.
Indeed, we actually expect these two teams actually doing better, especially from Brazil. That I hope they don't choke us they did last weekend. So we are going into first map of this match. We are going with Galvanize. Actually, interesting opener, but we will see how this develops for these two teams.
We will get to see then. Here we are, Brazil versus Korea for the third place. Whoever wins this faces Japan on the winners bracket finals, grand finals rather. The loser has to take the bronze. Let's this clash of titans start, as Brazil is actually behind here. Early lead for Korea based on accuracy.
Yeah, especially with that with Lotus and with 99.3, it actually had some issues with the opening jack. So we will see.
So what's the composition?
Yeah, but it seems like the composition is actually bringing back his accuracy on this part. It's mostly on
score gap here.
Yeah, it's mostly on Gil that has a little lower accuracy than the other two members on South Korea.
Yeah, but you can check Andre. Andre is like overperforming against Geol. Gil is pretty much equal with Transcendence, and Lotus is just ever so slightly above the composition, who's now hitting a lot of 200s on that section. He got like 8 200s probably just on those hands, and that's gonna give a huge lead now to Brazil, so long as they don't break the combos.
Yeah, we're now entering the alliance section, and this part might be troublesome for the releases for some of these two teams, but it seems like they don't have that much issues. The score difference is actually pretty equal. I mean, it's not moving to any other team, so
yeah, it is stable.
It's actually not changing a lot, and we are now reaching the hard part of this map.
It will mostly come down to that anchor. Everybody's full comboing this, which is already very impressive, but can they hold their ground on the long notes and the anchors together? That's going to be the deciding factor, and we are about to get into it. Right after this, we will have it. Alright, prepare yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, here it comes. Lotus drops, Andre drops.
Oh no.
The lead, but Transcendence drops.
Oh my god.
It's a 2-for-1 trade, and still on the lead for Brazil, just on accuracy alone, even with a disadvantage in combo. They're gonna be taking a very small lead though. Will they be able to hold it?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to see here. This part is actually like kind of free act for these two teams, but it's actually pretty tight. The score is actually it's kind of moving into South Korea, but it depends on the end.
I know that Gil has some trouble with this section. Andre, the one who drops the composition trades though immediately on that section. Brazil's gonna keep that lead, and that miss actually hurts Korea more than what it hurts Brazil, as the accuracy from the composition is just so low. But oh my god, this is fairly close to. This is anybody's map yet. Like a single miss from Brazil here is collapse. If Gil keeps the full combo though, Brazil should have this, but can they hold it?
Don't do it, man.
We're not gonna do it. Gio is also doing really well. His accuracy is incredibly high. Only Andre is matching him, but with a couple misses of his own, will Brazil be able to take this? This last section is not really all that tricky. If they can get the stops right, that's pretty much it, right? There's not much else left. Gio actually drops a lot of 200s there. So does Gil, but it's not gonna matter too much if the combos stay like this. This is Brazil's.
Yeah, it depends only on the ending teleport. So yeah, it's mostly on the accuracy difference that the position has here. Probably they need like 1 or 2 misses from Brazil to actually take the lead back, but we are reaching the ending here.
Oh, Gil drops!
Oh no!
No, Gil! Oh, they're gonna take it! Gil's gonna take it!
No.
They don't have time, or do they? Oh my god, it's gonna come to the right. Andre, what happened? Oh my god! Are they dropping it on the very last second? I do not believe this. Korea will take the point. Dropping on the easiest section of the map. What happened, Brazil? Just collapsed there.
Oh my god. I actually won't say that was the easier section of the map, because some of those teleports are actually pretty in your face. But yeah, Andre having those misses at the end is actually pretty rough, as it would give the point to South Korea, and actually the first breakpoint of the match.
No way. Gil was holding his FC for so long, and it was not enough. Yell's full combo is just gonna keep Korea on the lead here. 980k. Everybody on all 6 players did incredibly well, and Brazil just lost it by less than 4,000 points. That was ridiculously close. The lowest score was like composition, was by the composition, which was a 950k on a map like this. That's ridiculously good. And what just happened with Brazil? It's literally just Yell being the difference here.
What?
Wait.
They're going with anomaly.
Oh my, they just want to knock the SBs out of the way, and I don't like this pick all that much either, but oh man, this could be a back-to-back breakpoint though. Like, SBs are just a coin flip. Maybe they just want to get rid of them as quickly as possible so they don't have to come down to the wire of the match to force those picks, but still, wow.
Probably they are going with the Reborn pick because this wasn't expected from South Korea, but as you said with Galvan, I thought they used this entire week to actually train these SBs and actually bring better scores than last weekend. So we will see how South Korea will actually do on this map. It's actually pretty interesting to see South Korea picking SBs. It's something that we've been having in mind, and they're actually going fast into the...
Yeah, they're not really changing their lineups, right? They're just playing SV after SV, so it wouldn't really make much sense for them to change the people. Although Zeros is actually going to play this time instead of Transcendence, so that is a player swap on the Korean side. Gonna see if it works. They should have a better natural ratio than last time, because Zeros is just such a good accuracy player in general. So that might give them a little bit of an edge against Brazil on this one.
Yeah, the issue here will be if both Gil and Andre will keep their mindset after losing the last point on Galvanize. So hope they actually clear their mind and actually put his mind on this one pretty fast, because they actually need to break this point to actually not be like 2-0 behind on the opening with 2 SBs out of the way.
Yeah, breakpoint here for Brazil will be ideal. Like, they just lost their first big, fine, okay, we take one back, we are back and again equal into this match. It's basically just a reset. It's like, instead of a best of 13, we're just having a best of 11.
Yeah, the issue here will be that Galvanize was expected to defeat by Brazil and they lost it, and now this one actually was expected to be picked by Brazil, but it was picked by South Korea. So, there's a miss by Zero. Oh my god. That's
gonna give an advantage to Brazil. They already were on the lead in terms of accuracy, but now into the teleports here, they're very harsh if you don't get it right. If you miss one here, you miss like 5 times. Will all the players here be able to hold on? And they are, indeed.
Yeah, 5k of difference between these two teams on that break. And
yeah, it's very close.
Yeah, they actually are doing pretty well on the Brazilian side for this part of the map. Actually, the accuracies are actually pretty good from all players on Brazil. It's only Lotus that is close to the 99 mark.
It's only those who's keeping them behind a little bit, but so is the composition on the Korean side. Actually, the accuracies are fairly close to each other, other than Andre and Joel. Those are the big difference between the two teams. Is maybe about 0.3, but now the composition dropped a lot of 200s there on that previous section. He's on the 98.55. That's going to give Brazil a fairly sizable lead here. Maybe not on the ratio of a single miss. Like, a single miss will put this very, very tight. Like, it will be very tight difference between the two teams if there is a miss happening on Brazil's. But if they don't, they probably don't have to worry too much about the accuracy. They just have to focus on full combo in the second half, which by no means is easy. Like, this is very tricky, and this section is very hard.
That's one miss from Gil, and another from Zero. They're actually trading there, but there is some 200 by Lotus on the start of the section.
So Gil,
yeah.
Oh, this is gonna get a little bit too close. Maybe for the, not too much for Brazil. They don't really like this being this close. They have been choking on the end before. And this following section is just mostly just long notes than anything else, and Gil has struggled with this before as well. So Zeros though, and the composition, they have been dropping accuracy and combo left and right on long note picks before, so we have to be paying attention about those 3 players specifically here. the very least, it seems like Brazil is just holding the grounds on accuracy. So long as they don't miss, they should have this on their backs. But that's what we said on the end of Galvanize, so we can't be so sure just yet. The difference is less than 10,000 for sure. And Zeros actually had another very strange miss there.
There's another strange miss by Zeros on that part and gives an even bigger lead to Brazil looking into the ending of this zone. And this party can also bring some misses with the Jack at the end, so we will see how these two teams do at the ending. And there's another miss by Zeros. Oh my god.
Brazil is holding combos. They're gonna keep that lead intact so long as they don't miss, but Gil is the one who misses on the long notes. Not gonna matter all too much. Still a big gap between the two teams here. It's just a trade with Zeros, but another one might make it close. The last triples are happening and nobody is having issues with them. Will Brazil take this break point?
No, I think it's too late. It's too late for them. The lead is actually 10k, so it will bring this another break. Oh my god. Gil with the... Oh my god. It's actually very sad to see that miss at the very end, but yeah, it will bring another breakpoint in the match. It's a second breakpoint.
That is 2 breakpoints in a row. Andre MC takes the best score in the lobby here. The full combo by the Brazilian will put Brazil ahead. And honestly, it was insanely close. Everybody on the 960k or better, other than the composition who was just 200 points off. He had the full combo, however, the only one on the Korean side. And what a play by both teams here. Really good showing. These 200 counts are literally identical. 46, 46, 48, 47. They're all really close. It came down to those misses.
Yeah, look at the score. Zeros and Gil pretty close. Same for Gil and Lodus. It's probably the difference between the composition and Andre. And actually Andre did pretty well on Anomaly. So it's now the ball is on Brazil's court again. It's probably time for them to pick a lane. It's probably time to pick another race map that is in Edison. But we will see actually, because it will be pretty rough for them to pick right now after those 2 breakpoints, one of each side. And there it is. They are going with Sulfate.
Saihate, we will never know how to pronounce this. We're commentators after all.
Yeah, especially Spanish. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that just makes it worse. Don't worry. what will be in Spanish? Like Sayate.
Oh no. Oh my god. So yeah, we'll have Brazilian again for this one. That actually Prince is called. I had it last weekend. We'll see how these two teams will actually do this one. Actually, South Korea didn't do like bad on this map from last weekend.
No, they did. That's right. But like, remember this map, right? This was the map where Lil Richie had an issue on the intro of it, and that's what caused US to lose it. They would have won it otherwise. So probably Brazil is banking on that fact, like that Korea maybe didn't perform as well as they did on other picks. And Brazil as a team is probably going to have a really good team score here. Like Nate is really good at this type of maps. Andre is extremely good at this type of maps as well. And Lotus is just extremely consistent accuracy. So Brazil has a very strong, solid 3-man team for this particular map. And although Korea have the long nose specialists like Big Hot Fury on maps like this where you need to be good at accuracy and not just long notes, people like Big Hot Fury struggles. And they will have to force your Ultra Sentence and composition as their 3-man team for this. So in a normal world where both teams play averagely, Brazil should have the advantage just on natural accuracy, like just on ratio alone. But we have to see. This is a map that is fairly easy compared to the rest of the pool. So I wouldn't even be surprised, or not as surprised if we see a 6-way FC on this. Of course, it is unlikely, but these two teams definitely have the manpower for doing so. There goes the chance to the finger with a deadly miss.
So yeah, looking at even with that miss, it's actually pretty close on the score.
Taking the lead?
Yeah, it's taking the lead with that miss, that early miss.
Just the composition was actually falling quite behind for this one in terms of accuracy, as he did on the SB picks as well. And Nate's accuracy is just gonna overpower the composition now. And Andre though is gonna drop.
Oh my god, there's a a lot of misses, I think, from Andre on that section. That
They
will
were
bring the
just
score back.
two.
Yeah. So three.
Yeah. That was Korea's 1-2 lose here as they are holding the lead. This could be a third breakpoint in a row, so that will be huge for Korea, for sure. But we have yet to get into this heavy long no section, which is where we expect Korea to drop a little bit of accuracy, perhaps some combo. Will they though?
They are. The lead is
don't
going
seem
back
to.
into Brazil. It seems that the score is actually the score gap is actually going to Brazil.
Yeah, they definitely took a hit. Like, Korea definitely took a hit on that section, but it's not as hard of a hit for Brazil to take the lead. They still have 2 misses to recover from, but it is getting really close. Yo is actually dropping accuracy as well, and all of the Brazilians are just climbing up as much as they can. Lotus is just having an insane day right now. He's on the 99.75, just destroying this shot and putting Brazil in the lead now. Based just on accuracy, they are 2 misses behind, and they still have the lead.
Yeah, and there's another miss.
Right at the end of the inverse.
Yeah, that will bring the score gap like too far into the Brazilian side. So looking at this, will be the first like real point to Brazil, bringing this into that 2-1 situation. And wow, the scores are actually insane, especially for those.
Oh my god,
his ratio 5-200.
It's illegal. That's almost 10-1 on a map like this, and only 5-200. Now this is the Lotus I was missing. This is the Lotus I wanted to see from the very start of this Mania World Cup. This is the Lotus we have seen on 2019.
Yeah, sadly we have seen those like underperforming on some of the other matches, but on this one, this is the Lotus that we want to see. The Lotus that we saw on 2019. Actually doing insane plays for the grand finals, and hope that that Lotus will be here to actually try to beat Korea, because they are in the lead 2-1. They need 5 more points to actually win this one, and they are going. Korea is going with some jacks with better end of it.
Yep, makes sense. I've been calling this is probably the best Rice pick for Korea. Debatable between this and Edison, because Korea just has a double 990k on this, and that's ridiculous. If Kalkai can actually do well on this, if he's even playing, like perhaps we just don't see him playing for this one, Korea just has an insane team score for this. And I want to go back to the previous map just a little bit. We were talking a lot about Lotus, but Yo and the composition both had full combos as well. They did really well. Like, Korea didn't do bad at all. It's just that Brazil's accuracy was, again, superior, and this is what I was calling before. The natural accuracy for Brazil, with this 3-man lineup, it's overall gonna be better than Korea. Unless we get to extreme scenarios like, for example, better endorphin, like this one in particular, which is why it's probably one of the best picks Korea has available.
Yeah, it might depend on... Actually, probably might depend on misses, because I know that Duo and Transcendence like can do like extreme scores on this one, but we have seen composition like lacking a little bit on the accuracy side, and on this sort of map with the less nodes probably might give some advantage to Brazil. Looking at this lineup of Andre, Nate, and Lotus, it might depend on some misses and depending on the composition, probably some accuracy, but we will see. It's actually like having this map early. It depends on how Fuel and Kalkai are actually doing on the map. They actually can do the B1 double S.
And here we are, then we're about to start with Beta Endorphin. This is actually a map by Gil. Well, it's not by Gil, it's by Squeeds, but it is uploaded by Gil. So that's kind of funny. He's not going to be playing his own map, though. I mean, not his own upload, I guess. It's going to be Andre MC, Lotus, and Silly Fanger for Brazil against Yeo, Kalkai, and the composition. So no Zeros for this, which makes sense. Zeros kind of struggles a little bit with very extreme Rice, so it will come down mostly to combo here. We expect Brazil maybe not having enough of a consistency core jack team to hold their ground against a very good Korea. We're gonna see Joel just destroy this chart.
What is that accuracy low? Like 99.9? It's not the hard part, but He's actually above everyone else on the room. Oh, there is a miss by Andre.
It is the first miss of the map here for Andre. Korea's gonna take a lead off of that miss, and their accuracy are just overall superior. Even Nate is a little bit behind. He had a bit of a struggle in the intro, dropping a couple to hundreds, and Andre gonna drop again. Power Jack is just very dense for him. He's an extremely good Power Jack player, but when he gets to 152 very heavy Core Jacks, it's just way too fast to keep up with. And Korea seems to be holding really, really well. Though the composition is going to be fine. The first miss for the Asians is not going to be nearly enough, as Andre just keeps struggling with this fairly hard.
Yeah, a pretty rough situation to Brazil, but there's not enough notes to actually do something even with the competition. It's still missing at the end. But Lowe's with that 99.81 of accuracy.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy score by Lothus there.
Oh my god, 101!
This is how to reach a 101. 5 to 100. That's just ridiculous. This guy's back. This guy's back. Lothus is back. Hello. Nice score as well by Korea overall. Like, look at that. 992k from Kalkai. 196 is extremely good as well. 238 for Yo. Insane. 200s only. And Nate's full combo is also not bad at all either. In fact, had Andre missed a little less, this would have been Brazil. Like, it really came down to just Andre not being able to combo long enough to gain that combo bonus, as the composition took those 16,000 points of difference was just literally between Andre and the composition. But that's an insane score by Lotus, and an insane play by literally everybody here. Korea taking the win there with crazy ratios and scores as well by Kalkalangio. Very even match, and this is literally just back and forth. This is probably going to be like that for the entire match. Like, this match is going to be decided by very minor mistakes.
Yeah, we saw 2 breakpoints on this. Now we saw this one with their own point, so it's fair for now. So we will see what Brazil was here. Probably they still have Relay and Lancelot open to do something. Probably there is going with Relay there.
Okay.
It's a fair pick for Brazil, but Korea has also good scores here. So
it looks against Japan, so I don't know.
Probably feel more confident. It's probably it's a different match, so we will see how Brazil does here on Relive. But even if this has a lot of notes, we have seen some of the race players having not that much issues with this map, so we will see how Korea does here now that we have a bit of Purdy back here in the team.
Pretty risky pick, as Andre is saying. He's not wrong about that. This is going to be a pretty risky pick. Out of all the long notes, this might be the easiest. This might be the less likely to column lock as well. The problem with this is that if you column lock on this map, you're gone. Like, there's very little room for recovery when you column lock on a map like this that is based on speed streams of long notes. If you column lock here, you're just gonna drop maybe 2% of accuracy in a single section. So that is the main issue with this. And with an OD of 6, although it's fairly easier to get good accuracy, it's also fairly easy to column lock. So we'll have to see. Korea has extremely solid long note players, but again, their accuracy is not as solid. Brazil should be winning this on accuracy alone, but column locks are a thing. The team who column locks the most is probably gonna lose this.
Yeah, this map is not a one miss map. You actually column lock, you are going with 2 or 3. You get the entire pack there. Yeah, but we are not seeing like Q for Brazil. It's actually interesting to see.
Instead of Lotus, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There's people in the chat asking what is a column. Well, essentially a column lock is when you are hitting the long notes and you mistime one of them and you hit it in the middle of the body instead of the start of the long note, which causes you to miss the judgment of the press and the release. And because you miss both timings, you need a window to refresh the key tap and in that window your column just locks and you cannot hit it for a bit. And if you have a lot of nodes in that single column, you get a lot of misses because you get column locked. And seems like we don't have 6 players. That's interesting.
Uh-oh. Yeah, this one of the players are actually out of the room. Like, I think B-Hop actually like left the room, so we are now might see a board here.
Yep, that sounds like an abort over there. Yep, there it is. B-Hop not showing up here, so gonna be a restart very quickly.
Yeah, there it is. There is B-Hop back into the room. Actually, probably something might happen. Like we have seen people actually hitting the escape button just when the map starts. So probably might stay there.
It had happened to me in the past. I know the feel.
Yeah. Yeah, will be something to be seen here. Actually, I'm expecting to see the scores from both Q and B-Hop Fury on this map. What they actually do on this type of long notes. So yeah, it's time for take number 2 on the 5th map of this match.
I'm just here biting my nails, not knowing what to expect from this. This is again like those maps, like most of the maps are like 50-50s, and this is no exception. I don't think there's a clear favorite for this map in particular, and that speaks volumes about the confidence that Brazil has into this match. Like, they're picking maps that are fairly like equal, so they don't really have many good picks remaining, and that could be a signal for them starting to fall off. But again, we'll have to see how this one resolves. Brazil, if they manage to win this, they still have 2 more long note picks to go for. They still have 2 of the hybrids that they are very consistent and very good at. So it is still very early to call anything right here. We'll have to see how this develops.
Yeah, I think Brazil has done the right picks until this point, so that's actually good, but we are now entering the next part here, and we have seen no misses here. It's actually pretty interesting, and the lead is actually on the business side.
Yeah, it's mostly of this accuracy disadvantage from B-Hop and the composition compared to Nate and Cute. Andre is also overperforming against Yo here. So if you match every single one of the Brazilian players, they are pretty much a little ahead. Like, Brazil is just ahead in every single comparison. The only one who is like close would be Cute and the composition, but it's still 0.1% of difference between those two. So it's pretty close still. Throw the map already into this, and there are no misses. So quite shocking. Really good performances by these 2 teams. Again, we were mentioning this is the easiest long note pick, but that doesn't mean this is easy at all. Like, misses is something that I will definitely expect on this map. At some point, someone just has to column lock on the speed pods. Here we are, second fast stream section. The composition is the first one who drops, and he gets heavy column locks, and there it is. Oh my god, that was the hugest lock I've ever seen. If I ever seen one, he went from 99.3 to 97.7. He's just gone. Like, that's what I was talking about. This map is relentless when it comes to column locks. You miss once in the middle of a stream, and you're just gone.
Yeah, you are actually going with that. He was pretty dead on that stream. So the accuracy that he needs to bring back for that log is actually a lot, especially with
Fury misses. Cute and Andre as well. Cute is actually not dropping accuracy though, just misses.
Yeah, 2 misses. Probably some dogs there on the lens, but yeah, 2 misses from Brazil and misses from B-Hop Fury will still bring the score on the Brazilian side because of the composition.
There isn't much left of the map, but there's still one more speedy section coming up right now, and a column lock could still happen. I believe one column has to be just way too huge for Brazil to lose this, so perhaps 2 column locks will do it, but still, I don't really see that happening. Brazil just has a massive lead right now.
Yeah, you actually need a lot, especially with the miss from you and the
Oh, the
competition
competition got
there.
fun. Oh, he's gone again. No.
Again. Oh no. Back into the 97%, even probably close to 96. But yeah, that luck defines everything.
Yeah, that's it. That's game over. Nate's score is actually ridiculous. Andrew's score is even more ridiculous. Like, he had a miss, and he's holding the best accuracy in the lobby regardless. Like, Nate was holding really solid. Just that last section, he dropped a little bit of accuracy. But still, this is a massive win for Brazil. Extremely high score difference between these two teams here. Insane performance. There are 15 200s by Nate, 250s, 100, no misses. And Andre with 20. God. And just look at the composition. He had more misses than 200s. That's what I meant with this map. Just calm lock you to infinity.
Yeah, that's the issue with this map is you lost once, you are actually you will lost the entire stream there. And this actually means that it was a pretty smart pick from Brazil, actually bringing this 3-2 on the scoreboard. It's actually pretty insane score by Silly there with the full combo, but now the time is again on the South Korean side. We actually go with another pick, probably with Tornado, probably with Pipit Futures. Probably they're going straight into Edison if they are feel comfortable with that now, but it seems they are going with the Sunfall. Oh, it's actually a pretty rough pick on this part of the match.
Oh, I don't know about this pick. I prefer Edison. I prefer Beepbit. Syntason phone? I'm not so sure.
Yes. This is not a good pick in my eyes.
Okay,
They actually have a lot of other picks to actually do right now. Like they actually have Edison, as you said, that to actually go and probably straight win a point. But this one, like probably I will have left this like for later in the match.
Although this is arguably like the hardest map in the pool, at least rise-wise, it is the hardest map in the pool. And Korea is probably just trying to take advantage out of that, right? Korea just doesn't seem to have a ceiling at all. Like, they just do well in literally anything they play. Like, there is no limit for how hard the maps can get before Korea starts to struggle. So they're probably just trying to abuse that fact, picking the hardest rise maps available, picking Korjaks, picking now Syntason phone. But the problem with this map is, although it is extremely hard, it is very techy, and because of how techy it is, we could see Kalkai dropping quite a bit on maps like this. He's really fast, he has very high skill ceiling, he has very good physical abilities, but when it comes to such an extreme tech level, Kalkai has shown weaknesses, and it's mostly going to be between Gil and Kalkai, I think. Perhaps Lotus as well, but Lotus has been performing so well so far that I wouldn't be too surprised if he does really well on this.
Yeah,
that being said, this might not be the best rise pick they had available, speaking about Korea, that is. But I don't think it is that terrible. Like, this could be maybe, again, like we were saying, one of those maybe 50-50 maps. But as Korea, when you have better odds, you will probably want for Edison or maybe Beat. Anyways, we'll see if it works just now.
Yeah, it depends on misses. On the end, very likely on some of those jacks. We will see because enemies like probably will cost a lot on this map. And probably this is not the point to bring breakpoints. And actually Brazil has the lead here, especially with that miss from Kalkai, as you said.
This is what I meant. Kalkai and Gil. This is going to be a battle probably between those two. And Gil's accuracy is no good. Like, he is way behind everybody else. But that full combo is keeping Brazil afloat on the lead. And his accuracy is probably just going to get higher as time goes on. Most of the bursty sections, which is what Gil struggles the most, is already gone. Most of this will just be tech now. And we're not seeing Andre either for this particular match. Or this particular map, that is. And if we match all the other scores, Nate is essentially tied with Yo, but Lotus is overperforming as crazy today. He is beating Transcendence by a significant margin, and it's really just the combos. The score gap is very, very minuscule. It's really, really close. As you can see, The accuracy from
here.
Korea could bring it back. It is a miss from Gil.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is gonna be another miss from Lotus. And Korea's just taking the lead now. The map is almost over.
Yeah, the map is almost over. It's actually...
Oh
no, there's another.
Lotus race though. Oh my god, if Lotus didn't miss there, this could have gone really close until the ending. But I don't think Brazil has enough time here. Kalkai drops again.
There's another.
Will this come to the wire? Some time. But do they? Yes, they do.
Oh my god.
They took it.
They took
it.
Yeah, just at the end.
Just at the very ending.
Oh
Brazil managed to bring it back. As they lost on they now do the same. They deliver the same kind of blow to South Korea. Kalkai dropping right at the end costed everything.
Look at those scores. Like, the ratios from everyone here. So they're pretty insane. Like, Nate with the 9200s and Transcendence with the 18. But yeah, the ratios are actually pretty similar with Lotus with under 400, 300s. They're pretty insane. It was decided at the end with those trios.
That was 5,500 points of difference. It was ridiculously close. Nate coming clutch with that FC, only 9200s. That's an insane play by him. Anything above 980k on a map like this is just out of this world. And the support from Lotus was incredibly good as well. Gil holding his combo for that long definitely helped Brazil as well. And although it was looking like Korea all the time, it was just that ending. We were talking, they didn't have enough time, but that one more miss from Kalkai do it. And it did. Brazil is now 4-2 on the lead. They just got the breakpoint they wanted, and they're going for Violent Arcade right out the gates, and I love this pick.
That's the issue here. Like, we said that Sinta Songphone was a very risky pick, like, early on for South Korea, and now Brazil are taking the energy from that point and going with Violent Arcade. And this seems like issues, a lot of problem and pain for South Korea, because having this breakpoint will need at least one breakpoint on the other lane to actually take it.
Oh my god, this is just shocking. Brazil took their chances on their riskier pick, which was Relevi, and Korea answered back with another dangerous pick of their own, but they lost it. Brazil now, they went for the hard bet, they went for Relevi, and now they're gonna try winning their best picks, really. Violent Arcade, probably Hedons, are picks that wanna favor Brazil quite a bit. So they can win those two, they are securing on this tiebreaker. So very comfortable spot for Brazil. They should be winning this one. This will put them on 5-2 scenario, but again, we have seen miracles. Korea, if there is one team that knows about pulling out miracles, it has to be Korea. So we will see Yol, Seros, and Transcendence on a map like Violent Arcade. I don't think Korea has played this before, and although we saw Brazil doing extremely well, we have not seen Korea, so perhaps we get surprised. We'll see.
Yeah, for this one, it will be pretty difficult. But we will see how these two teams does with the trials and all the strips at the with the lens at the middle part. But the accuracies are now on the Brazilian side, so it's a pretty big start for them. But it's getting closer and closer.
This is a ridiculously good intro by Brazil. Everybody on the 99.9 mark for a moment, and now everybody above the 99.7. That's insanely good accuracy of this intro. Brazil's gonna take the lead of that, but Korea's not much behind either. They're gonna take advantage of any accuracy drops by Brazil, and they are actually starting to happen here as Andre is starting to fall a little bit. Scores are gonna get a bit closer for Seros. It's gonna be the first one to miss.
There.
It is. Side of the map already gone here, and Brazil is taking a very decent lead, but Andre is going to trade that miss from Seros right back very quickly, and Korea will actually take advantage out of it, as Andre is dropping a lot of accuracy. Oh, he gets double miss there, trade by Ascendance, but only one from him, as Korea is now taking the lead back again. This is a crazy match. Into the halfway point, Korea is having a very tiny lead. The accuracies from Korea are just overall more consistent across the team, but Lotus and Silly Fanger are pulling ahead very well when it comes to this just raw accuracy. Andre has to pick himself back up with his last third, and Brazil might have a chance just on accuracy to take this one back. And Ceros now he has been dropping on break so many times into this match. And oh my god. It is going to be really close now. I think the accuracy fit from Ceros was a little bit bigger than what Andre had to face, and Brazil is just going to stay slightly above, ever so slightly above here, the Korean team, but it's just flickering. This is going to be decided again on the very last second. What is this match?
Oh no, this is pretty rough. Pretty risky. No.
Don't desync me like this. Do not do this, client, okay? Andrew's now picking himself back up, and Transcendence is Ceros, yo, Silly Fang, Lotus is not recovering, please. Ceros is dropping.
Oh no.
Damage from Ceros might cost a lot, but Andrew traces it. Lotus is a little bit behind, so we are not really seeing the picture of the difference here, but Gio finds a drop at the very end of the map as well. This is looking like Brazil. At the end of the map, will it be Brazil or will it be Korea? As they all sink back, Lotus has a little bit of time. He's gonna pull ahead. He is gonna pull ahead indeed. Brazil will take another point of their own with a double FC there by Silly Fanger and Lotus. 9 200s and 12. And don't get me wrong, Korea's scores on this are ridiculous too. It's just that Saros choked a little bit too much. But 10 10 11, 9 12. That's ridiculous.
I think all the 200s from all these players are pretty insane. Like, almost everyone got 10 200s and 20 from Andre, but yeah, the scores from all these two teams is pretty insane. And we'll bring this the 5th point for Brazil against South Korea. They only need to take 2 more, and they seem to have some maps available to do that. They have Lancelot, they have Hiddens, as we said, but they also have Dance Number. They actually need to take something.
Alright, Korea now going for Edison. This makes a lot more sense than Syntham Songphone. So they're gonna take now probably what was in paper their best point, the best chance from the get-go. Korea has won SBs, one of them particularly, and they also won Core Jacks. They lost tech, but now into speed streams and very, very, very high end, like fast jump stream. Edison is, in my opinion, the best pick Korea has remaining at this point. And call me crazy, but I think the one that goes after this will be Dance Number from Korea. I think Korea's Dance Number is going to be better than Brazil's. If they can replicate a 970, that's just a win.
I think this might give some signals for them if say Brazil actually has the speed and the consistency to actually do this one right, because probably if they actually see that Brazil is doing bad on this one, probably they could go with beat figures. This actually kind of similar, especially on speed wise, but Dance Number is actually kind of risky looking probably Nate on Andre doing on that map.
The only way I can see this match going back again in favor of Korea is, I mean, they should be winning this one, right? They should be winning, and it's Edison, as we were saying that Brazil should have won the last one. This is a pick that really favors South Korea. They take this, it would be a 5-3. Brazil has to avoid that number. Like, I cannot stress enough how much I think Brazil has to avoid that number as much as possible. It should be like a last resort pick if they ever get to that point. But if they pick Dan's number, Korea's back on the game. It will be 5-4 and it will be their pick as well. So the game is nowhere near over here. Like, Korea still has a lot of opportunities. Brazil still has to pick very cleverly, and this map still has to be displayed. As we say, Edison favors Korea, but we have seen crazy stuff. We've seen Galvanize, so anything can happen here.
Yeah, everything can happen, and might depend on subsections here. And as we said, this is probably on South Korea to lose it here, because if they actually lose this one, it's a pretty rough situation.
Yeah, this is not do or die for Korea, but they lose this and they are in a very difficult spot. Like, almost on the edge of unrecoverable. So they really cannot afford to lose this one. And Brazil is actually on the lead accuracy-wise here. The composition is struggling a little bit to keep up with the rest of his teammates, but Andre is the first one to drop on the match, so that's going to give a window of opportunity for Korea to recover. But the accuracies from Lotus and Nate are so incredibly good that even with the miss from Andre, the score gap is only getting closer, but not enough for Korea to just take that big of a lead. Andre drops again though. Oh, that's a big drop as well. His accuracy is just really low now.
Yeah, it's a pretty big miss. We actually misread the entire intro of that section. So
Percentage is dropping a lot as well, but
yes.
Oh, Silly Fanger as well. Andre is just lost. Yeah, this is probably way too hard for Andre to keep up with. Lotus as well. Dropped normal for Brazil.
Yeah, it's pretty big loss for Brazil here, as we expected. Like, this is actually pretty fast and pretty demanding for these two teams. Even if I said that, the duel with the 99.77%.
Yeah, Lotus' score is nowhere, like it's really close as well. He had miss and his accuracy is literally the same as Joel. So we're gonna see some crazy scores at the end of this. It's still a third. I don't think Brazil can recover from this. It will take a big hit from Korea here for Brazil to win this one. And this is what I wonder. Why did Korea not go for this earlier on? But regardless of that, they're still going in a triple full combo round. This is shocking. If we see a triple full combo from Korea on Edison of all maps, that's just nuts.
Yeah, it was pretty rough for the composition there.
No! Walter,
okay, I did my work, I think. Well, that happens.
Still, that doesn't take credit off Korea. This team score is just outstanding. Like, it's mind-blowing. Like, this might be the best team score that we will ever see on a map like Edison. Again, Yo with a second B1 double S. He has B1 double S this 2 times in a row.
2 times?
This man is just out of his mind. Like, what is this guy doing? Lotus ratio is insane too, don't get me wrong, but yo, calm down, buddy. What is wrong with you? How did you do this? 2 times in a row. Like, 1 time and it's already enough. 2 times, like, calm down. Jeez. What a play.
I have no words to actually see this 2 times in MWC. I saw that Intel. I actually I've seen Anomaly 3 times, but 2 times double S, B1 double S on Edison it's actually pretty insane. I can't believe it.
I refuse to believe.
I refuse to believe. And what will happen if South Korea wins this one and goes and double S again on the next match? Like, it will be like, no, it won't be unbelievable.
That would be just nuts. Yeah, I don't think that's possible at all. First, they have to focus on this match. They have to do their best to win this. Oh, break Big Band! What?
Oh, okay.
No, Brazil. What are you doing? No! I don't like this pick at all.
No, yeah, probably this is not the right pick for this one. They still had 1 or 2 safer picks. But break Big Band, probably they're banking on some of the SBs there. But yeah,
I just don't know. Like, Brazil has been doing so well on long notes that I don't know why they're just not going for Heathens. Like,
I personally don't think that Heathens was the right pick here, because the lens is like it's a short section. They actually miss 1 time, probably they miss a lot on Heathens, and it's a short map to actually do it.
Let me tell you something. It's a bit of a riddle, a little bit of a predicament, a bit of a pickle to get rid of all the bitterness.
Yeah, we are.
The referee is a bit confused about the map pick.
Yeah, people can't read about bad wars. Yeah, seems like we are going with break Big Band here. It's a pretty questionable choice, I think, from bot the Brazilian side, I actually don't think that South Korea is actually that good on this. It probably might be like like we saw on the last match with it was the miss at the very end by South Korea.
So let's check the scores again on this. So Korea played this against the United States. They had 975, 967, and 958. What did Brazil have on it? Brazil had 980, 979, and 946. So overall,
not bad.
Korea has a 2,901,000 points. Brazil has 2,906,000 points, which is almost the same as Japan and the same as the United States. So in paper, Brazil has a 5,000 lead of the Korean team. But that being said, Seros had a lot of misses on Break Big Bang, and his accuracy was actually very solid. On the other side, Brazil, Andre also had an extremely good accuracy, but way more misses. So if Nate and Lotus can play similarly to what they did last week, this probably favors Brazil. But I think this isn't as good as a pick as others that we have seen, like other available options for Brazil. Sure, it's not Dance Number. I think that was the worst choice they could have made. But I will have to prefer something else. We'll see if Brazil proves me wrong here.
Well, they have to have a lot to prove here on this one because it's a wild ride on Break Big Bang. But if it's a bet, at this point you need to take risks against South Korea, especially if you are ahead. So yeah, they actually are going ahead on the score, also on the score gap. They are a little ahead of South Korea on this intro.
They seem to be having this accuracy lead out of the gates here, mostly from Lotus and Silly Fanger. Andre is having a little bit of a difficulty keeping up with the map, but so is the Korean team. So all things considered, Brazil is going to take an early lead out of this first section of the map. The first 1,000 notes going to favor them, and Joel actually now going to miss. That looked like a client drop from Andre, I'm not so sure, but if it's not, that was a trade. So scores are pretty much equal again as we saw on the intro. And it was indeed a client drop from Andre. I am so good at reading the client.
Now a pretty rough situation for South Korea because that means actually brings the lead, a kind of a big lead for Brazil on this part of the song. So we will see how they actually do on the last part, but here on the break they actually will see the scores and look at it. Oh well.
Yeah, they will be seeing that there are full combos everywhere other than Andre's side here, but they could probably tell that Brazil is on the lead, both teams. So nerves are going to start kicking in. Korea knows that this is like the one map they have a pretty decent chance to break point on. So they have to tighten that hit concentration as much as they possibly can. They have to take every risk they can in order to have the better chance to have the highest score possible here. Like they can go and like sharpshoot accuracy here because they there's a miss. Andre actually is going to drop here.
That's a kind of a big drop, at least score wise, but
it's significant.
Not as impactful as we thought. There is another miss by Travis there.
Alright, then we head into this more heavy jack section where Korea is probably going to take a bit of an advantage in terms of ratio, but what's going to happen is still undecided here. If Brazil can keep up this combo, they should take this. Yo is actually dropping for the Koreans, and Brazil is looking really good for the rest of this one. There's still a quarter of the map remaining, but the score gap is miles away of the reach from Korea here. This is looking really good for Brazil. They are proving me wrong here. Lotus is gonna drop, but it's not gonna matter all too much. Andrew's gonna drop.
Another one.
It matter a little bit.
Okay.
Though.
Well, there's
actually.
Drops. Yeah, and that will bring like only one FC by Silly here. It's pretty insane that he kept the full combo until this part, especially with those jacks. But that might be the deal to bring this
That's
into
it.
another point for Brazil.
At this point, it's just it, right? This is it. Brazil has this. They're gonna win this unless the client states otherwise. But this is.
I was about to say about this, but please don't. Hope Lotus brings back, please.
Lotus, please submit. Lotus, please submit. Let's go, Lotus. You can do it. Let's go! Lotus misses.
Oh my god.
But
I
he's
think
alive.
that's a client miss. I think probably it's a client.
Yeah, that's it. That's Brazil. That's Brazil. They
Brazil.
take it. They take their own pick here. It is now 6-3 match point for Brazil. Korea on the verge of elimination of the tournament here. They have to win every single map remaining into this match in order to face Japan tomorrow. But will they be able to do it? They have to start with their own pick. They only need one break point, however. But that being said, Korea on a very rough spot over here. They cannot afford to lose a single map.
I need to say, and this is probably something that a lot of people might be thinking, and probably we us, like, we are actually looking, because
Wait.
it's the first time we oh, what? We are, oh, they are going with Beep Beep.
Oh, we're gonna beat it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that that's an important line. This is South Korea at the verge of elimination here, because we haven't seen this on on years, that we are actually looking into South Korea being this close to being eliminated of the tournament.
Oh my god, last time Korea faced Brazil, Korea won on a tiebreaker, but Brazil beat them once on the grand finals. It was a bracket reset. And if there is one team that has this duty to take down such a giant as Korea, it was Japan at once. But the final blow, it just has to be Brazil. There is no other team in the world. It just has to. It's destined to be. But now, Korea's gonna try their best with B-Bit here to take that chance off Brazil, to put things in even play field once more. They win this, they just need to break point one time. Win their own pick once more, and they're on a tiebreaker. Will they be able to do it? We have yet to see. And I want to comment again on how crazy the ratio by Lotus was on the previous pick. We were just so focused on how it ended, but Lotus had 484 300s. That's
Pretty
crazy.
insane.
It literally half
Crazy.
the 300 count of literally everybody else. That's just ridiculously good.
Yeah, this one is actually pretty insane, because oh my god, I don't think it's business, because this is, well, probably this might be a point for South Korea, but Brazil still has a lot of other maps to actually pick for their point to win it. So at least they have been secure their tiebreaker, but Brazil is actually going into a revenge here, into a revenge tour from last year that was like pretty close into winning the World Tournament. And now they are almost like inches away to do the final road to South Korea and actually going into this grand final once again. So we are actually now waiting for these two teams to actually be ready in the room. Seems the referee is actually looking into those being ready, and we'll seeing these two teams actually that will bring the interesting to see how these two do on maybe futures, especially when we saw South Korea like accuracy on.
Oh, Lotus goes silence. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, he was lagging a little bit.
Yeah, that happens in tournaments, but it seems like it should be okay.
Alright, we're gonna give the Brazilian team a moment here. Lotus got silence, so he's trying to get back into the game now. He should be in just a moment. Brazil's looking to deliver the final blow here against Korea, but it's Korea's pick. It is beat Futures, and again, this favors Korea probably for the most part. So we will see if Korea can actually deliver and win this one, force the match into a 6-4, force Brazil into picking the last, and try their best to break that point in order to force a tiebreak.
Seems like Lotus Internet didn't want to go to Brazil, so yeah, we're looking for him to actually be back into the room and probably continue the match. But for this one, will be like actually pretty insane to see.
We get to listen to what genre would this be? This is like very fast chiptune, or like I don't know what it is.
It's actually a mixture of chiptune and breakcore. Yeah.
Chipcore.
Yeah, most of the other genres. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice tune for the two artists.
Still waiting on Lotus here. Seems like he restarted the client, so it's gonna take him a little bit here. We want to see both teams trying their best with full power. So we'll have to see. Lotus has been playing an insane game today though. Like, he was looking a little bit shaky on previous rounds, on previous matches. Brazil still managed to win literally everything other than the match against Japan, but now we're looking at a renewed Brazilian team. Like it is insane how much better is looking Brazil at the moment compared to what we saw last week. And it mostly has to do with Lotus just doing so much better. And even though Nate is maybe not doing as well as he was against Japan, he's doing really well, and the whole team is just backing those two legends up. Andre is playing formidable today, Gil is doing extremely well, and overall Brazil is such a scary team. They're putting the work here. They're just doing literally everything they can, and they're doing it really well. Like, they're using all their assets in every possible way, and Korea's trying the best. Korea maybe looking like the underdog on this match in particular when we started the tournament. It's just that they look so good against Thailand that we were starting to doubt a little bit. Maybe it's again the year of Korea, but we're gonna see bit-bits here. This might change. This might be the year for Brazil, or the year for Japan for the matter. It will all come down to this and the potential next two picks. Can Korea pull it off, or will Brazil knock them out? Will this be a 7-3? We will see more of this matchup.
Yes, map number 10 is actually pretty insane for these two teams to actually play 10 maps of this caliber. But yeah, we are actually starting pretty close between these two teams on Bit. Actually, the score gap is actually going back and forward, and I actually don't like this stops by the client, especially with the Lotus implement there. And there's a miss there by the composition.
Early drop there, right at the 400 combo cap as well. Maybe ever so slightly before it, but still.
Oh no.
Big miss, and another one from Korea. That's no good, but Gil Helmesi's accuracy is actually dropping quite significantly as well. But so was the composition, so accuracy-wise, it is pretty much equal at this point.
It's pretty much equal, but that miss is actually bringing the score gap into the Brazilian side. So it's actually probably not the best choice right now, but we still have a lot of map to see. It's a pretty long map, and a lot of speed and stamina needs you need to this one. So we'll see how this team do there.
See how they deal with this fastest section, which is probably the hardest section of the map. Silly Fanger's gonna be dropping, and so is Gil.
Oh,
man.
no,
That is enough. Yeah, that has to be enough for Korea to take back the lead here.
yeah, but even if those two misses, it's not that decided on the South Korean side.
Oh, it
the
is
score
not.
gap's actually going kind of into the Brazilian side. The score
is
gap is actually
not over at all.
not that much. It's not that much. It's like
It is
2K.
very close. Yes, it is. It is really close, this battle between these two teams. I think Korea just has the very slight accuracy advantage, mostly on the back of Gio, who's just doing miracles here. If Korea has a chance to win this, it will be because of the score that Gio is setting up. And they can see the difference now.
yeah.
They can tell this is on the 4 digits. This is 2,000 points. And Gil drops
Oh no!
right after the break.
Gil!
And it's going to emphasize that lead on Korea even further. But again, this last bit of the map is no easy. Like, it's not easy at all, by no means. And Gil is gonna
What
drop.
are you doing, Gil? Another miss there.
Oh man! But again, those misses are very significant for sure. But this last section is gonna decide it all. We could see misses from any player, really, right here, right now, as we enter into the very last part of the map.
We still can call it. Anything can happen at the ending. Even with
Here
those
we go.
misses there.
Last section of streams. This will be the do or die for Korea. They have a pretty significant lead right now, but this stream section is the longest of the entire map. Can they hold their ground? It seems like they are. Gio is just so good. Like, he's so comfortably hitting all these patterns, and there's no misses by anybody else. The composition getting lost a little bit, and there is the miss. Oh, quick! Oh, so he's taking the lead.
Just at the end.
Oh, called it.
There's enough time.
It's
There's enough time.
come out to the-
No, God.
Oh, Brazil
Oh
takes
no!
Still did take it!
Take it.
They did
Oh my
take
God,
it by
they did it.
118 points! They got
100.
the
100
tournament! Whoa! What just happened?
God. It actually happened. Just at the very end of the map. Brazil took it and actually they will go into the grand finals of the Ultimate Mania World Cup 2020.
13 points! The composition
Unbelievable.
on the end. What just happened? He just dropped so much. They had it. They had such a massive lead as well. How? Brazil putting a statement here, taking the win 7-3 against tournament favorites Korea. Brazil is on the winners bracket grand final again. This time coming from the losers bracket. Actually, again, to face Japan, who knocked them down on the winners finals. What a shocking performance here by all the Brazilians. And Korea has gotta feel a little bit sad about that difference at the very end. It didn't really feel like it was over, but Brazil took their chances and they are now securing a top 2 spot at the very least. Korea knocked down, taking the bronze of this tournament. Unbelievable stuff. For the first time since 2015, Korea is not gonna be your champions. Instead, it will be the winner of Japan-Brazil tomorrow at 13 UTC. What a match.
Wow, it's
Actually, 1 UTC, not 15 UTC. My bad.
13 UTC. No, it's
Is it a 1 UTC or 13 UTC?
no 13 UTC. The
Okay,
South Korean
okay,
match
yeah.
was a one. Yeah. But regardless, it is actually unbelievable. Like, in all my years, like as a player, as a referee, as a host of this tournament, like couldn't believe that we are seeing a different match for grand finals. We are seeing Japan versus Brazil on this one, and it's not an easy match for these teams. With the performance that we have seen, will be an actually pretty insane match. And these two teams are actually, like, they have played. They actually know how these two teams will actually perform. So it will be a difficult match. Brazil needs to take it 2 times to actually be the champion of this tournament. But Japan has the advantage here. They only need to win once against Brazil. They actually did it 1 time. They just needed to do it again. And we will see what of these two teams will be our WrestleMania 4Q World Cup 2020 champion. actually a pretty insane situation we have.
It's
seen
a
here.
ridiculous situation. If you had to call at the start of the tournament who will be winning or who will be on the grand finals even, I'm not sure how many people would have expected Japan and Brazil to be the two teams. Sure enough, Brazil was looking on paper like a champion candidate. They have gone through a difficult stage. Argentina, United Kingdom, United States, and of course Japan and Korea now. And they're looking so much better. They're looking like they can be the team to take it all. But Japan had an equally difficult fight here. Thailand, Korea, Singapore, and Brazil itself. They have won once. They just need to do it again. It was on the same pool as well. That's a ridiculous match we're gonna see next match really, tomorrow at 13 UTC. But my God, I'm out of breath here. That was a match and a half between Brazil and Korea. Don't let that score difference deceive you. 7-3, sure. At this level of difficulty, how hard the map was got, we're still seeing difference of less than 5,000 points. That's ridiculous. There were at least 4 maps that were decided by that little between these two teams. And it's probably going to be the same tomorrow. You do not want to miss this final at all.
Oh my God, I actually can't believe it. But yeah, it will be on Sunday at 13 GDC. We might have a little surprise before this match.
No. We might not. We will have.
Oh
we will
yeah,
absolutely
we will have. We will have a surprise before this match. So probably you might be to stay tuned to the Also Live channel. We might have a little surprise that probably some people will actually know from previous World Cups. But yeah, I think that's enough. I think people might want to see it. But for now, it was a pretty exhausting match.
It really was.
For the players, for us to commentate, it was a pretty high match, and the hype isn't over because we have 1 or even 2 more matches to see to actually finish the Mania World Cup 2020.
Well, yeah, everybody. 11:30 will be the time we're gonna be opening the stream for the surprise tomorrow on Sunday. But oh man, what a match. We expect to see you all there because this match was exciting, but so will be the Japan versus Brazil Grand Final. For all those Brazilians watching, congratulations for winning this match. For all the Koreans, congratulations as well for getting the 3rd place. Very deserved. They have been playing out of their minds, both teams really, and probably has been one of the most, if not the most exciting World Cup we have ever seen in the 4K history. This tournament was just nuts from start and hopefully to finish. Japan and Brazil will be tomorrow. Hope to see you all there. Have a great night.
can feel the evolution. All my time no longer frozen. I'm leaving all the dark. I don't know who I will become, but I know what I want more than ever.